post-traumatic album. We're about to get us out of the creative process, so I want to bring out one time my homie, my friend, the man, the myth, the legend. Mike, you ready? Give it up for Mike SHINODA. Come on, man.
It's a store. Like I thought it was gonna be like a little more chill. You guys are not. You guys are very.
I'm telling you, no lie. I've done a few of these with the Apple staff here. There's a great staff. It's always a great place to bring fans and artists. I've never seen this. So, man, today, man, first of all, congratulations on the release of Post-Traumatic, man. You're a veteran, man. You're really like a legend in this thing, but in a lot of ways, he's a new artist. This is the first Mike SHINODA solo album, right?
And it's such a weird combination of those two things, right? Because I feel like, oh, everything's like static on the mic. Is it me? Is it mine?
The mic's trash.
The mic's mine. I just want to make sure.
You want to switch?
Yeah, you're gonna switch.
I just want to make sure. Should Tater maybe take a look at it? Do you want to take a look at it? Because I can hear it sounds weird. Yeah. No, I want you to.
Yeah, we'll get 1 second to get it right.
So,
cool.
Let's talk really loud.
Yeah, so the, but in terms of like the debut artist and it's Apple, they got all kinds of microphones. There is that element of like it being new, like besides the fact that it's the, like originally I had to talk to like, you know, when we talked to Apple, we talked to Spotify, it was like, hey, you know, is Mike gonna have on his page, is he gonna have, should we put the other music in there? Should we put Fort Minor in the side of the Mike SHINODA thing or not? Like it was all those weird questions, you know? And there are like right answers to that stuff. You gotta just figure it out. Make it up.
And you know, that's all the technical stuff, right? And it will work itself out and figure it out. But you know, in releasing an album without Linkin Park, without Fort Minor, like it's like you're naked out here, man. It's just like that was one of my favorite moments. Can I tell a Chester story real quick? This is a really funny moment. He would get so worked up sometimes about certain things on stage that he was all upset about something. And there was one time we were at one of these like metal festivals, and there were people crowd surfing. And these girls were crowd surfing. You could see there were dudes like grabbing him. He got pissed, as he should. And he was like, hold on, like, everybody stop. He's like, I see what you're doing down there, that is not cool. Like, you guys need to treat these girls right. I don't care, they're just trying to have a good time, and don't do that. And if we see you doing that, we're gonna pull you out of here and you're gonna get kicked out of the show. And everyone's like, yeah. And then he goes, he's like, it's not right that you do that. Like, how would you feel if I was out, if you were out there and I was out there grabbing you or whatever, and every girl in the picture fired on him. He was like, that's the point. Man, my favorite. Man, rest in peace to Chester. Post-Traumatic, you know, I want to get into it because you didn't set out originally to make a solo album. I mean, we have 16 tracks.
oh yeah.
When you first started,
I mean, what was the goal? What was the impetus for you starting and creating? Because it wasn't an album, right?
No, I mean, I just wanted to start making things again. Like it was scary to me. It's like, you know, for a long time, like every time I went in the studio, I was like making stuff for the band pretty much. And I had so many, like even walking into the studio, the area right when you walk in, that was where Chester recorded the vocals for What I've Done. And I mean, you can see if you go look at the making of What I've Done, like on the Linkin Park YouTube page, you'll see the video of him recording the song right there. And so for me, all those things, you know, were like scary to like, I'd think about it, they're scary to go to the studio. And eventually I realized the longer I waited, the more anxious I would get, so it would build up, and so I said, I just gotta go in and start doing something. And I sat down, and I would just jam. Like I played guitar, I just played, and I'd play piano and make little beats and stuff. And naturally, some of them started turning into songs. I didn't go in saying like, today I'm gonna write a song. It was just like, I'm just gonna go in and do whatever feels good to do. And I've been telling people, like, in terms of, you know, whenever you've got stuff going on, if you've got heavy things happening in your life, like, number one, talk about it. Number two, do things that you know are going to help you overcome it. Like, if there's little things like painting and drawing, or if there's little things like, you know, playing an instrument, just zoning out, I think that there's something meditative about that, and for me, it just calms my brain down.
You know, and I think I can speak for the fans when we had seen you come out. I think we got on Place to Start over again, watching As I Fall, as kind of this first pack of songs. You know, I think we were all going through something as fans, and there was all like just tension and anxiety about losing Chester and what the future will hold. But man, to see you kind of express yourself in that way, it felt like one big hug for all of us, I think, for the people who love you guys. How did you feel to get that stuff out? You went in without even trying to make songs, but just to get things out, and then, you know, you have these songs at the end of it that people really love and we attach ourselves to.
I have a friend who's a doctor. He works in LA, and whenever he has changed jobs or has like a sabbatical, he told me recently, he always writes in a journal. He has like a catalog of journals of all these important moments in his life where he takes that time to just like step back and reflect on like where he's at. And you can look at it in comparison to like the last time he journaled. And he was talking to me about that. And I think that's kind of what this music became. Like it's in a sense, it's like a diary or a journal of the last year. So very much like whatever was going on in my head at the time, I just tried to make it into the song. And I figured if I said something that was too, you know, it made me uncomfortable later, or if I didn't, you know, feel like it was the right thing to say, then I figured I might as well record it. Like, just say it anyway and record it. And then later, if I felt like it was the wrong thing, then I could fix it or remove it.
Place to Start. You know, and I gotta thank you, for those of you who don't know, I work at Genius, used to be Rap Genius, the lyrics site. And if you haven't checked it out, Mike is on Genius, and you've been annotating the lyrics and sharing personal stories around what lyrics mean. So you got, not even a shameless plug, like it's really great stuff there. Like, you know, I advise you guys to check it out. Like, but Place to Start, you know, and reading your Genius annotations, I saw that you had said that Place to Start originally began as a Linkin Park song in one of the sessions for One More Life. Just talk about the creativity of how that goes from that into what we get now.
It can be really like kind of loose sometimes. So like that song started as like a track in my laptop, just the music, and matched it up with, and I started like writing some things over it, but since it was just this like kind of free form verse, like if you listen to the song, there's no like hook. It's just a free form kind of thing. It's just a statement. And it was that way when I started it. and it just, because it was not like a song, it didn't really make it onto the album because we were like, I think the guys wanted, you know, songs. And I always liked it. And when I came back to it, when I was working on, you know, when I decided, oh, I'm gonna put something out. I don't remember what the original lyrics were even. It was just, I changed a bunch of the lyrics to make that it say the right thing. Because it was close, but it wasn't exactly right. And I just tweaked the lyrics to bring them up to date to how I felt in that moment, and then it became the thing. And what I liked about it too is the fact that it didn't have a typical song structure.
Very much like an intro to a record. Like, yeah, just kind of like, yeah. Now that's dope. I want to talk about Over Again and again the process, because this is into the creative process and how things work, and hopefully we can learn something not about how our favorite songs are made, but also about how music is healing in a lot of ways. The night of the tribute show for Chester at Hollywood Bowl was a pivotal moment for you, right? In a tense moment, a creative moment. Like, talk about that moment and how Over Again came from that.
Well, our idea for the song started even before that, because in order to do that show, we had to decide to do it, which was hard. And then we had to start reaching out to other people to be at the show, you know, to sing on the songs. And we reached out to a lot of people who were already in the middle of a tour, they were on the road and all this stuff. So we, you know, thankfully a lot of those folks sent like videos and sent personal, you know, messages that we played at the show. But in terms of all the people that did come and perform, we had to rehearse. We had to figure out how to play the songs a little bit of a different way. Sometimes we had to change the key and change the song so that it was in somebody else's key. Like Alanis Morissette sings a song in a different key than we would have, and then, you know, so on and so forth. Like each person, you know, there was slight tweaks. And then definitely for me, like when I sang certain songs, I sang a much lower register than the songs were written. So in doing that, you gotta rehearse these songs. And I told you a second ago, like I was like anxious about even walking into my studio in the beginning. So now imagine me having to go into the studio with the guys and play these songs. It was, in the beginning, it was terrible. And eventually we had to look at it like, we said it was gonna be a celebration, and it's one thing to say that, but our brains weren't entirely wrapped around that yet. So we had to believe it. We had to like really like reflect on it and remind ourselves why we're doing it. Part of the reason why was because we had a private funeral. Like the fans did not have that, and so that was the thing. It's like, okay, we got to do this for not only for ourselves to get on stage and play the songs, but also for the fans to have that moment, to have some closure, to celebrate him. And in doing so, it was a lot of just this repetitious, you know, day after day of like, kind of like doing something that made you really upset. So when I woke up in the morning of the show, that was happening in my head. Like, man, I'm gonna have to sit there for however many songs and just be pummeled with this stuff over and over again. And that's kind of where the song started. So I recorded the first verse that day, and then we played the show, and then the next day I woke up and I recorded the second verse.
Well, so it's crazy how that creative process works, how you know, the real life pain. It's almost like therapy in a way, definitely like an outlet. You know, the thing that I appreciate about post-traumatic, and you know, I didn't know what to expect. I don't know if any of us knew what to expect, but the album really opens up. You know, it kind of starts in a place of confusion and sadness and questioning, and it gets brighter. I really feel like it opened up and allowed us to be on this journey with you through the healing process. And I don't know if there's any real resolve, but it doesn't stay in one place. At what point creatively do you start to kind of pick up the pieces and we get some of these other songs that open up the conversation? It's not a depressing album. It's really
right. Yeah, and definitely, thanks for saying that. And when the album starts, I feel like it's very much looking backwards, which is kind of where I feel like people start, where I started at least, in this whole thing.
And then at a certain point you start to go, okay, well, things are different, and then you can't do anything about that. Though what you can do is look at what you've got and what are you going to do with that? You know, I'm here, the guys are here, the music's here. Like I still know the things I know about how to put a song together and what I want to say. I know things about you guys. I know how, like, what our relationship is kind of like. And so I figured, you know, it's not going to be easy to get out in front of people and say, like, you know, this is how bad my year was. It's like, in a sense, like, one of the things, for example, one of the things I was worried about is to say, like, I talk about that. Number one, I don't ever want to feel like, oh, poor me, you know. I'm not asking for, like, your sympathy or attention. It's kind of like, I wanted people to know the opposite, that the reason I'm out here with the album and everything is to say, like, look, I'm just gonna be, I was just honest and put down my thoughts and feelings on this record. And if any of you are in the middle of that journey or haven't started that journey, or even are reflecting on having kind of been through that journey, then maybe you relate. And especially for people who haven't, whether they've lost somebody themselves in their own lives, or on this side, if they're just, you know, they really were attached to Chester as a person or an idea, then it's just, hopefully it's like helpful, you know? And thank you.
Thank you. Give it up, come on.
Part of it is it feels good to have, like, that sense of purpose, like a reason for doing things. It's like, you know, in any of our records, I've never wanted to feel like my purpose was to, like, get people's attention. It wasn't like, that's not why I got into music. If that was it from the beginning, this would just been short-lived. It's, you know, I've always loved making music. I make music when I'm not doing anything else. Like, I mean, the management and crew that travels with me knows, like, if I'm late to the lobby, it's like, hey, we gotta be in the lobby at 12:30. If I'm late, it's usually because I was on the laptop, like, making something.
Because he's cooking a hit. Leave Mike alone. He's cooking a hit record.
Just trying to, they're trying to, you know, there's the balance between, like, let him do the thing, and if we don't go now, we're gonna miss the flight.
Nah, that's great. Can I do have a couple more questions for you, but I want to take some audience questions, which was they're pre-selected. So we got questions for everybody. We're gonna read them off an iPad, but I seem to have lost the page. Where did they hide it? See?
Hold on, is it in the notes?
Maybe in the notes. Probably in the notes.
Oh, it's not in iBooks. Is it in iBooks?
We love you, Mike.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love you guys.
It was in iBooks. I would have never looked. I looked at notes. No, but we have great questions from all of you. I'm going to pick out a couple of these to ask. Yeah.
I'm not gonna cheat.
Nah, here's one. I mean, a very simple question, but might be the most difficult question and a very telling question. But Kenneth Martin Guides, I think I said that right, wants to know, what's your favorite song? Was he at over there? Yeah. Raise your hand. What's your favorite song on Post Traumatic?
Well, I don't have a favorite. It's like, that's everybody, you know what that is. For every artist, it's like picking your favorite child again. Like, at least when you feel that, you don't tell them. You know, you're my favorite baby. That's messed up. But yeah, but the songs don't have feelings, so that's okay. I'm not gonna screw up their life by saying that, at least. No, I do. There are certain songs that I have different. I get, like, excited about at different times, just on the day. And like yesterday, for example, some of you guys were at Gramercy. The show yesterday, I added the song off the record "I Owe You" because I was just excited to see. I was excited to play that song. I put my set list together, and that was the set list, and it was done. And I gave it to the crew. We got all ready. We did rehearsals. We didn't play "I Owe You,"
And then last night I was just like, man, I just really want to play that song. And by the way, you said you mentioned genius earlier. Like, for anybody who grew up on hip hop, like lyrics matter, right? So, right? And it's all, I think that's true for you know, any type of music that has words. And I think that not so much for instrumental music, but the idea of having, you know, being able to explain your lyrics on a website and say, like, definitively, like, this is what I was thinking. Whether it's a track like Over Again, where it's like I was writing about my personal story, or it's a track like IOU, where there's like wordplay and cultural references, like pop culture references. To what was the one part was like about Logan. I had this line about
you know the
yeah, it's Hugh Jackman, Hugh Jackman, like a milk for being Logan. X23, I'm keen to leave him with a femur broken.
MC right now.
The thing is, I wrote it, and even when I wrote it, I was like giggling. I'm like, that's shit. But the thing is, when I wrote it, I written it because it was one of those times when I'm like, man, I just need like one extra element of something cool in this line, and I actually Googled the movie, and it turns out the actress who played X23, her last name is Keen. So I was like, oh, I work her name in X23, I'm keen to leave. That was where I was like, oh, that's a good way to do it.
Oh shit. That boy good.
I've got the air one on my phone. I do that to people, like we're in the car and behind them they say something, I just go behind with the air.
So when you hear that, you know it's Mike. Nah, that's amazing. Christian Bastidas wants to know which song on Post Dramatic was the hardest to record.
Over Again's hard. I think also Nothing Makes Sense Anymore was pretty hard. It was interesting because that one was, sometimes a song will take multiple passes to get it right. I might change some words, or I just don't like how I sounded that day, and I'll do it again. And Nothing Makes Sense Anymore, I did it all in one day, but as I was doing it, I just felt like, it was just a bad day, you know, like you can tell in the lyrics, like it's really just kind of depressing. So there was that. I think also there's, in terms of just being like, that one was like emotionally hard. The one that was challenging in a way that was like a code to crack, it was more analytical than emotional, was Make It Up As I Go, because I kept tweaking the beat. Like I didn't like the beat, I didn't like the track. I just did it, I hated it, I did it again, I didn't like it, and then I got K Flay on it. Where I was actually, the chorus was me and Brad and K Flay back on when we were doing One More Light. We recorded those vocals over the track, and the track still, the song in general just had so far to go that I told Brad, like, we just got to put this one on the back burner because it's not going to be done by the time we get the record done. So then I came back to it, you know, say like 6 months ago or something, and then finally cracked the code. But it took some work. It's like sometimes you got to just, you know, not be so caught up in your own thing. You can like look at your own work and say, no, I can do better than that.
And sometimes music is a feeling and it just flows right out. Sometimes you got to work at it, like the process is different. Last question, we're gonna take from here. This is Alexander Platten. Alexander, what up, man? This is a good question. I really, really like this question because I mean, you're an artist through and through in every sense of the word, so I know this is really important to you, but Alexander wants to know, the artwork that you presented in the limited edition book is really amazing. We love it. Would you ever consider either selling prints or showcasing the pieces in like a personal art show? You know, will we get the Mike SHINODA art show? Like, what's up with that? mean, there's Apple pens, we got a iPad. Got everything you need, brother.
iPad Pro gallery show. Yeah, oh, actually, shout out to Apple and the iPad Pro. I didn't even think of this. In the book, all of those drawings in the second half, all the like coloring book style thing, the line drawings, I did those with the iPad Pro and a pencil. If you look, I did it. There's an app called Procreate, and I did it in that app. So if you're interested in a really great, I gotta get a sponsorship. What the fuck?
Candace is over there ear to ear.
But some of you guys got it. But it is cool. I appreciate you saying that. I obviously this wasn't when I was doing that stuff. When I was making that stuff, it was just. It was therapeutic, it was fun to do, made me feel good, and I just kept doing it. I would doodle on my iPad, I'd make paintings in the house, and they are real, they exist. They're like, they've got the dimensions in the book. They're like, some of them are like 4 feet by whatever, they're not small. So I can't just throw them in my carry-on luggage and like bring them here. So at some point I would like you guys to be able to see them. Like I'm trying to find a way to do what you're thinking, and hopefully, yeah, when I figure it out, I'll let you know. But I want to do that. I want to do what you said.
Cool. Listen, there's a ton of great questions here. I'm sorry we couldn't get to them all, but
I have something I want.
What's up? Go ahead.
This is the basic of I want to give props to your wife and to Linda because of them I came out and I seek help. I recently got my tattoo for you guys. It has a semicolon, which means my story is not over. It won't be over. I appreciate your music. This album has helped me immensely. I lost my sister 3 years ago. Immensely. Your words resonate with me like nothing.
She said, in case you missed it, she did say, number one, highlights for me. First of all, shout out to my wife Anna and to Linda. If you guys are not aware, Linda's gotten involved, Chester's wife got involved with an organization called Change Direction. She did 320 Changes Direction. 320 is it's Chester's birthday, and they're addressing suicide prevention, mental illness, and signs of mental health, signs of mental illness. So go check them out online if you are curious about that for yourself or others. And the other thing you said was you recognized some of those things and you got help. Amazing.
The music is really healing, man, and I want to commend you for the project. It's a great project, man. I feel like I learned more about you through this project, man. It's amazing. I want to get into the music. You guys want to get into the music? Might take a second to reset, but give us a second, and y'all gonna get a treat, man. Get your phones out. Hashtag Today at Apple. Hashtag Today at Apple is about to be amazing.
Jerk chicken! Mike.
Have you ever been to Queens besides the Guardian Airport? You are supposed to play City Field, but unfortunately.
Mike, I have a video of Chester no one has. I thought you might want to have it.
He's not here.
No.
Because I don't have my phone, I write it down. I always write all my stuff down. But whenever I get a restaurant recommendation. Oh man, I'm always looking for good food. There you go.
Mike,
Mike, your fan has something to show.
I have a I have a video of Chester Bennington no one has from a private show in LA. I thought you might want to copy.
You guys are allowed to sing.
Try it.
Check, check. All right.